thought I would do a live again today. Sorry, they don't give you much time to get prepped for it. So I am going to be cutting out, sorry about any noise as well. I'm in my garage working, so motorcycles fly by, but I'm going to be cutting out this airplane out of stained glass. I did my first ever live last night with Winnie the Pooh, and I cut out the pattern while I was on live, and I think it just took a little bit too much time. So I'm just gonna kind of get straight into the cutting of it. I am teaching myself how to make stained glass. I've been working on a couple of different projects, and it feels like my skills are going backwards a little bit, so I'm a little bit disappointed. But this is a really basic one, so I'm hoping that it's a lot easier. But I wanted to redo this one because I'm currently making it in different colors for my nephew, and there's hinge points in here, which are something I recently learned about, but you should probably know about them if you are making stained glass. It'll make your piece extremely fragile. So I wanted to do two different versions. One where I'll do copper wire wrapped around the edges of it as a reinforcement, and then one using UCAME around the edges, assuming that I can get into these little tiny areas to see if there is a difference, because I can't really get an answer, excuse me, online about any of that. I've asked in different stained glass groups, and it seems like more of a personal preference, not necessarily that anybody has ever really tested it, but I guess it does depend on the size of the piece and a couple of other variables. So I thought it'd be kind of interesting to do two different versions, send it to my nephew who is like 4 or 5 years old. He's not gonna know anything, but his mom's gonna track it for me and kind of see if there is a difference in them. I am gonna set up my computer. And the neighbor's cat is out here with me, so if you hear meowing, that's just him. But I will set up my computer so I can see any comments in case anybody is actually on here. My Wi-Fi does not crap out on me. But this was the piece that I just did. I finished cutting, and it is terrible. I ran into so many issues. It was an off day, the day that I started cutting this, so I ended up stopping, coming back to it, and it was a little bit better. However, when I was grinding, nothing went right. There are huge gaps everywhere, so I am gonna recreate this one. I will eventually foil and solder this one too to kind of compare the two of them, but this was a very challenging one, and I think I just got really discouraged by it. So I'm gonna do this airplane, and we're gonna see how it goes. No, don't scratch me, please. Oh gosh. He's such a good cat, but he doesn't leave you alone. So getting my cutting oil ready. You can hear him. Stop it. Hey, no. He really has a long claws, and they are going straight into my skin right now. I know, you gotta stop. I'm sorry. I did just feed him and give him water. Nobody thinks that he's neglected. Okay, I do have comments up now if anybody is on here. Hopefully scratch me while I'm cutting anything out, because that'll be a nightmare. And I'm just hoping that my Wi-Fi sticks out. So this piece I'm very concerned about. I've only done one other circle, and it was on the original airplane that I cut out. It actually turned out okay, but when it comes to grinding, these tiny pieces really stink. But also a circle is kind of intimidating because you have to have that perfect. So we're gonna see how it goes. This is gonna be the colors for the wings. Just hope he doesn't climb up here. And I'm just gonna get going. I also got running pliers that are actually running pliers. And there is a learning curve with these as well. I did not start using these when I first began because I had the wrong tool unknowingly. Not my fault or anything. It was just a giant Temu fail, but you have to kind of learn how to use these as well. So you can't do curves with them, or I guess you can, but maybe my skill level's just not there. And I can already see that my accuracy is a little bit off today. So I don't know what's going on with that, but I'm just gonna keep going. It's way off today. So I might have to recut that one. I don't think I'm going to because of the placement of it. It should be okay, but I may have to recut that one. So we'll see. Yeah, see the running pliers, thank you. The running pliers, I don't even know what happened. Well, I know what happened. It sounds like yours might have been a slightly different issue, but I ordered them not knowing any different on Temu because I was getting started. They had cheaper prices than Amazon. I don't have a local glass shop. And I'm really struggling with the edges too. I was using them and they weren't doing anything and I didn't understand, so I just stopped using them, and it turned out that the running pliers were not actually running pliers. They were incorrectly listed on their listing. So when I went back, when someone pointed out what was going on, I went back to the listing and it had been completely removed because obviously they weren't selling what they were saying they were selling. Hi, Anne. Thank you for chiming in. But I will say, once you get the actual, like the correct running pliers, I don't know about you, but it made a world of difference. But they're still, so sometimes I am still struggling. That's, I guess, okay. But there is a huge like learning curve, because obviously you have to have these go over the entire glass, so they don't really work for all the pieces. And curves, people tell me that they work on curves. However, I don't know, they didn't work for me. Yeah, they work great for the larger pieces, but man. So I'm gonna tap this. I don't know how loud it's gonna be. If it's super loud, please let me know. I won't do it on film, but I thought maybe I would test this. This was a method that a lot of people have been suggesting, especially for curves. So I wanna see if it actually works on this one or what's gonna happen. And I don't know how much pressure to use. I don't know anything about it. So we're in this together. So when you do that, it works pretty nicely. But you can see my accuracy is just off these last couple of days for whatever reason. So, and that just happens. Thank you for letting me know that. Yeah, I don't know, maybe like more advanced people. I know when they use the running pliers on the curves, they do it like gently cracking on each side and kind of go back and forth with it, but I don't know. How long have you been in? Are you taking, is this your first class, or are you in, have you taken a couple of classes? And it's great. Taking a class is the perfect way to get started. Once a week. How many pieces have you made? That's a long class. How come you, I don't know how to phrase this. Do you have interest in investing in the stuff at home, or is it like a community class that's super inexpensive, or you just like the class? I took one class and I just bought everything to do it at home. But good for you. And this glass has a bunch of little nicks in it, and I don't know if that really cut or not. So I am gonna wipe off my cork board so I don't cut myself on all these shards. This piece was the only reason I didn't want to go on live and cut this out, because I knew it was going to be a really big challenge for me, especially with how my skills just are not on par these days. But I have a grinder, so we'll be okay. And this glass just does not seem to want to cut. So this one I'm definitely going to be grinding. Oh, interesting. Yeah, mosaics, I've never gotten into them, but that's interesting you did it the reverse way. Usually I find that people make stained glass and then get into mosaics because they have all of those scraps. That is pretty cool. Yeah, and it definitely goes faster. I don't have my glasses on either, so I should probably do that. But so I'm trying to read off screen. But it definitely, you start to get more comfortable with the tools and it goes a little bit faster. I noticed that on like my 6th project. It seemed like it was just like, oh, okay, you don't have to be afraid of breaking something. I mean, you're gonna break stuff, but you don't have to be intimidated by it. That's pretty cool. Good for you. Do you ever post on like YouTube anything? Because I love following people that post their crafts and stuff, or artwork, I should say. Artwork and not crafts. The only thing that really stinks about YouTube Live or any live is that you can't listen to music in the background, so yeah, soldering. Do they use that Hakko soldering iron? I don't have a Hakko. I have a Weller 70 watt, I want to say it is. I didn't know that I was getting the incorrect tool, and that has been a little bit challenging, but I'm learning how to use it for stained glass. But the Hakko is awesome. I watched a lot of videos before I took my first stained glass class on just soldering. It was a lead came class. Are you taking lead or copper foil? Because learning with lead was the best decision. But I love the copper foil method for the pieces that I make. I don't really know how I'm gonna do this one, so just bear with me. Oh, okay, yeah, I'll try to, let me jot down, is that your username then? I'll go follow you for that stuff. I love that stuff. This one again, accuracy is just not on my side right now, which is okay. I'm struggling with kind of tools and I don't know what's going on with it, but the last couple projects I've been a little bit off. And it just is what it is. But if that's your username, I would love to see the mosaics too. Ches Ann, I'm gonna write that down. If I can find something to write with. No, that's cool. I get it. I didn't even think about that. I love following people. I notice that a lot of people will comment on videos about the projects they do, but they don't actually post their art. And so I don't tend to follow them because they post a lot of, nothing wrong with it, but they post a lot of like political stuff or, you know, I don't know. I just want to follow people that are making their art there. If I wanted anything else, I'd be on Facebook. So this piece I had done last time, and it's kind of, you can see that it goes upwards, so I can't even cut straight across. I'm not really sure how this is gonna work out, but we're gonna try it. I'm gonna tap this one again. can tell that this one's not, there it goes. Took a little bit more than the other one. Garden and chickens is perfect. Love it. I'm here for that too. Yeah, I did it good the first time. I filmed it and I haven't put any of the, I don't think I put any of the videos up yet, but every time I do stained glass, it's like a new, you never know what you're getting into. Some days the glass works with you and some days it shatters everywhere. See if this works or not. Is it like purple or blue? I'm curious if it's, I would imagine if you're taking professional classes, they have the legit, the Hakko, I think it's called, soldering iron. To see on my pattern if I messed up on this. See a straight from here. But the iron makes a huge difference. Start this way. It's very confusing to choose which side to go with on this, so people are probably going like, what are you doing? But I'm not advanced enough. What's it called, Light Lead? The Light Lead account? He does such beautiful work. And he doesn't even trace his pattern. He just like cuts it. No grinding. Perfect cuts every time. That one's gonna be way off. You can see that I'm gonna have a lot of grinding to do. So I don't know how other people do it when this happens, if it happens to them, I don't know. But I would like to go through again with my cutting tool and slice it and even shatter the sides, but when I do that, it just tends to break on me. So I wonder if they use a Weller in your class, which would be terrible. Well, not terrible, but and most people do use a grid when they're cutting. I find that my cuts are worse if I use it, but it captures all of your glass shatterings and all of that stuff. So it's a lot safer, especially if you're not using gloves. I personally don't use gloves, but a lot of people have been commenting to use them. It's a personal preference. You should absolutely look into it if it's something that you're more comfortable with. I find that it just kind of gets in the way of when you're actually cutting. And this is why I don't tap things. So this just cracked in half, which will happen. I'm gonna recut it, retrace it, and recut it. I'll come back to that one. See, when I'm not on live, it goes so much smoother. The other, the account that I was talking about, he does the lead came version. So he doesn't do the copper foil one. He does these beautiful like windows, like church style windows, but not church style windows, but that type of style. And so I'm still very much struggling with curves and clean cuts, but overall, I mean, definitely improvement from my very first pieces. But I still don't get those clean cuts. So, and these two pieces I'm definitely intimidated by. I wasn't sure if this was gonna work or not, but we're gonna try it. It did work the first time. And I'm hoping it works again. And I do know going into this one that I'm definitely gonna be grinding it because it's so small and I obviously struggle with the edges and kind of making that cut. So I did know going into this one that this piece was just gonna kind of be used on the grinder. And I don't know how people do these tiny pieces where I would like to go and do this one again, but I know it's just gonna break on me, especially because so much pressure being on here. I don't know how they do those tiny pieces with cutting. Just talent that I apparently don't have. Just kidding. I have learned, because I don't know if you can tell that I'm a little bit unsteady with the tools that I use. I've tried the pen tool, I'm terrible with it. I have issues with my pointer fingers, so that causes some struggles. But I have learned to kind of hold my finger closer so that if in case it slips, it definitely helps. And then you're not completely wrecking your entire piece. Yeah, the lead one, that's what I learned with the very first piece that I ever did. I did 2 of them, I think, so far at the little class that I took. And grinding is definitely not as important. I'm gonna grab more glass for this one, clean this off really quick. That is something very important in case anybody is doing stained glass. You need to keep it clean. This way. Yeah. Because my glass has that texture on the other side, I can't cut on it, so I need to make sure that I reverse my pattern, which is a detail that I sometimes forget about. Now in your class, do you do vinyl or sticker paper or anything, or do you trace your patterns on? Because I am noticing that I didn't enjoy the sticker paper. I did at first, but I ran into a lot of issues when learning how to cut. And now, if I don't use a permanent marker, and I use the oil-based ones, which are better for grinding, I'm running into issues because they bleed so much. so my lines are just not accurate at all. Let me do this one first. And one thing about those, when you use them, a lot of times it scrapes and makes the worst sound. Thankfully, I have editing for my actual videos. You can take that out. Interesting. So I bet it's a similar concept to the vinyl. I found that like it being thicker like that, I found that the sticker paper really, I could not cut it all using it. I mean, my cuts would have been terrible anyway, but it didn't allow me to kind of learn how to flow with my tools. But that's interesting. Do you have a local glass shop near you? I'm assuming they have a local glass shop, but are glass shops more common wherever you live? I don't have any within like 4 hours of me. And that stinks for buying glass and prices and another thing that I noticed that I'm kind of regressing on, I don't know if that's the right word or not, but that I'm kind of getting worse at as I continue to learn stained glass is when I get closer to the edge, it shatters. So I was getting a little bit better at it, and then I don't know what's going on. It's like the more comfortable I get with it, the worse my skills become. I don't know if that's like a normal thing, if it's just more challenging pieces I'm kind of working with. Yeah, that's nice having that so close to you. Okay, we're gonna try this one again. The good news is the pattern that I had working on, I knew that I was gonna do really wacky colors. They were gonna be more scrap glass or glass that I don't really use, the cheaper glass type of stuff, because he's not gonna know any different, but it's a great way to use the scrap up, but also in case I mess up, I don't have to worry about, that's so nice to not have to worry about replacing that color with the exact one. That's what I think too. I get a lot of comments about just get the Cricut or the vinyl cutter, and it's a totally different process in general, but I don't know how well that's gonna break. I don't know why I did that to myself, but here we are. And it's kind of a big investment, so I wonder if they had it beforehand. I wish right now I could side by side play for you how I cut it the first time and how perfect it was versus what's happening right now. Thank you. Yeah, it's for like a 5-year-old, so he's gonna like the bold colors, and I think it just works with it. Um, Kind of similar to the one that I did the first time. I'm trying to tap this one out. See, the whole internet tells me that if I do that, it'll just work magically. Ugh. I'm gonna keep going with it. I'm trying to see where this fits. I think it'll be okay. I'm just gonna keep going, but it did kind of nick off that corner, so that was not cool. But I know it was my own mistake because I left all of this to still go. So let's keep going. My decisions on what I'm doing with cutting it today is just not the greatest. Please don't break there. That's your, no, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, it is how it goes, but just wish it was a little bit smoother. And I'm not too concerned about this piece here because I know when I actually go to grind it and fix it, it's gonna be okay. But if it wasn't this specific design, I would have absolutely recut this one again. I don't know. I mean, this is kind of what they're for, so you should definitely be wearing safety glasses if you ever do this at home. Because you don't want glass in your eye. I'm gonna wipe this off again. Yellow piece popped off so easily when this was happening. I'm kind of convinced that the people that comment about how you should do the tapping method on your glass are just full of it. So this is definitely going to be a piece that just I grind. Just the way it goes some days. But like I said, I mean, I think I'm on my technically cutting them like 14th project. They're not together yet, so I'm kind of working on a bunch of things simultaneously, and I don't think I got enough of that one out. It just feels like the last couple I haven't really been getting better. And I don't know if that's normal, if I'm just off, if there's like the element of it being summer weather because I work outside. Yeah, I might have to recut this one now. That's all right. I'm gonna see what it looks like once I put it on there. Maybe I can just figure that out. And I really wish I could play that video so you could see that I'm not always this terrible. Just today. And also, I wonder if it's the glass that I'm using. This is a completely different glass than the first one I did. I used a thicker glass, and this one is just kind of shattering everywhere. I'm learning about glass density, which is a thing that you should kind of be more aware of. It matters how much pressure you use or don't use, and the angles, and there's a lot of things to learn. I'm just gonna keep trying this, but I have a feeling I'm gonna use a different glass for it. Because I don't think that's gonna really work out. Yeah, I kind of figured that was gonna happen. So I do think I'm gonna end up recutting this one again, which is fine. I should have known going into this with the current status of how terrible my cutting has been the last couple days. It was gonna be a nightmare. But a lot of little shards. I have to clear this off again. Yeah. So we're gonna get started again on this one. This is the last piece that I have to cut. But I am gonna try a different style glass. And I do wanna do green. Let's see if I have one right here. I'm gonna try this one and see how it goes. See if it is the glass. Or what? So this one doesn't have texture on either side, so I don't really have to worry about that part, which is lovely. It's really hard to multitask, by the way, when every single detail is a make it or break it for your piece. Oops. See, normally this would not be happening either. It just must be the pressure of being on a live, which I don't know why that matters so much. This is gonna be a little wonky. If only all cuts were that smooth, you didn't have to worry about it. of like not knowing which way to go. You can feel all these little pieces. I definitely have to clean this off. You can see I kind of shattered the edge of it there. I'm gonna try the tapping method on this one. Sometimes it just doesn't work. I hope I didn't just mess up this entire piece. I have a feeling that I did. I can work with that. Tapping method just isn't working on this piece. This is always so intimidating. Pretty clean though. That was probably the cleanest one of this entire thing. I did shatter a little bit on the bottom here. Still okay. Hopefully this doesn't completely mess up everything. Because I'm so close. I can kind of see it starting to break. But this one must be like more dense than the other one. I don't know. All I can hope is it didn't crack, but it did. So this must be a point that I have to really focus on. I'm gonna try it one more time while I'm on here and see if I can get this going. And I'm gonna see if I have a different color. This is a similar one that I'll try and see what happens. Third time is a charm, hopefully. I know I should have just kind of kept it for grinding, but I thought, why not keep trying? This way. So I'm gonna try it one more time, and if I can't get it, or maybe I'll just leave some spots for grinding. I don't know how I did this the first time, but I did it, and I didn't have any issues, and I don't understand what I did differently. And I do wonder if this is just like part of learning stained glass, where you kind of move forward and then somehow your skills, you get too confident maybe, and you don't pay as much attention. I don't really know. There's definitely something going on with me. Yeah, blame it on the other hand, the pressure of my hand. I like that, Anne. That makes me feel a lot better. So you've been making stained glass since September. Do you do, I was just gonna ask you, thank you. I don't think that I'm that great at it, but I appreciate that. Do you do a lot of pieces that have like straight edges then? This one's really awkward because it's straight and curved, but also it's not like a straight line. So when I wanna go cut that curve or the straight line, you can't really do that. So it's just a little bit more complex. But I am curious, like, do you notice that your skills ever go backwards? Or is it just like a me thing? I also noticed that when I use the black permanent marker, for some reason I'm so much closer and accurate to the edges versus when I use the oil-based markers. I don't know why that is. So did you ever notice that you improved on the curves and then like reverted back to like your beginner style? Or are you just improving overall? Do you not really notice a difference? Way too large, yeah. It's hard, and it's hard to figure out, like, unless you are right against your glass looking super close, it's hard to figure out where that line, the cutter tool, actually is. I hope I didn't just mess this one up too. I'll take that. That one barely got in there. Let's use a shatter piece. Yeah, I leave it till the next week too when I take the class. I will say that the lead came style I find less forgiving versus the copper foil. They're completely different processes and they're used for like different pieces most of the time. Although I see people making huge copper foil pieces, which is fascinating to me. But the lead came is so much less forgiving. So I like this method more because I know I can hide the imperfections. Like once I get it to a certain point, it'll be okay. It's this pesky little corner right here. But I do like the copper foil for that. It's gonna see how this one does. Gosh. Whew, that was nerve-wracking. So that one, I'm good with that. Grind it up. I'm gonna try and do a little bit more over here. Hope the best. Okay. This is very nerve-wracking right now because this is the last little bit that I have to do. And if it breaks again, I'm gonna be so upset. And the internet will give you a billion ideas or a billion ways to try and cut your curves, and I tested them out on the last piece that I did and none of them worked, so I'm convinced that they're all full of it. I'm sure there is something to it, but and I'm gonna take that as a win because that is the best one so far. I can tell here it kind of shattered. I know it's really hard to see on the camera itself, even though I have a bit of grinding to do. But this piece, I could get it in the pattern that I'm using. I really don't have to grind off that much. This one I will go in and grind this side And you can see how sharp those ones are. But overall, I'm so glad this one worked out. So, sorry, I'm just seeing the chat over here now. Yeah, see the inside, thank you very much. The inside pieces versus the outside too, it's total, they're not totally different methods, like this, the basics are the same, but it's just different. There's different processes you have to do and all of that good stuff. So I'll show you the actual, let me clear this off. And here's the piece. So you can see that I have quite a bit of grinding to do, but scared myself for a second there. It's okay. So this one, I didn't do a very good job with the rounding of it, so I had to go in and kind of grind that off. Grind that off a little bit. This corner, on this one I didn't do that great of a job either. This one would be pretty easy to kind of grind in there. These two straight lines I'm great at now. And then obviously the pieces up here. These two, I'm not too concerned about the actual thickness of them, but I do have to go in and grind right here so that it fits nicely with the circle. And that's it. So the next step that I do is I grind it, which I never really film because I don't have a setup for it, and also it's just loud and you can't really, it's just really loud. And then you wash it, copper foil it, make sure that's really done, you know, burnished on there well, and then you come out and you solder it. So hopefully this one will get done by the end of next week and I can compare the two. I'm gonna do one that has the copper wire around it for reinforcement and one that uses UCAME, and I wanna see how well they hold up. So that's really the reason that I made another one of these. Otherwise, I definitely would not have. But I think the colors actually work, especially for a little boy. So I'm excited about it. Thank you, Anne. Yeah, I'm gonna go and find your account on there. You can see that I have all this marker and little shards of glass, so I'm gonna go wash up. But thank you for everybody who tuned in. This is my second live. I still am getting the hang of it. I do want to find other projects to do during live, so if anybody has suggestions, I am all ears. I will do my best to have them traced on the pattern beforehand because that takes a little bit too much time doing a live. And yeah, so this was a lot of fun. I appreciate everybody chiming in, especially Anne. This was wonderful. I'm gonna go try and find your channel. If I don't, please comment on one of my videos. I don't care which one, or I don't know if you can message people on here. I don't use this platform too much for anything aside from just posting my videos, but I'm gonna go find you and give you a follow, and I'm excited to see it. So thank you all so much, and I will see you next time.